What up traders, what up investors? Today we're going to be looking at DraftKings, and this particular play that we're looking at, this options play, came from a wonderful person within our Discord chat right here. reefrlder basically was suggesting that he saw some very strange option activity on DraftKings options yesterday afternoon. Asked on what it meant and what it looked like. After looking further into it, did some digging, looking for a massive, very bullish play into $40. We'll break down the trade here in a second. So what is DraftKings if you're not familiar with it? DraftKings is basically, it's going to be a live sports booking app. This is not legal yet in every single state yet, but it's kind of going across and sweeping and getting a lot of positive from the regulations. Due to the fact that there aren't really many sports going on right now. This is pretty strange that it's poised and it's been taking off quite a bit. It really just come out as an IPO. So when it gets into sports betting, I actually have no idea on how this works. I don't really watch a lot of sports. I do watch some baseball, but that's where it limits it off. And I know you judge me for watching baseball. I know it's boring. I'll watch golf sometimes too. So they're going to be actually being the number one player in the industry. If you remember back in like 2014, 2015, there was like DraftKings and there was other companies, but DraftKings kind of gobbled them up, or the other ones just kind of fell out of place due to the fact of heavy regulations, having to go to each state and work with legislatures and regulators to get it passed. That being said, they are pretty poised to continue moving up here. The chart looks absolutely pretty strong here. Again, it just IPO'd end of April, and since the beginning of beginning of May, it's just been riding up the 5 and 8 exponential moving average quite substantially. Again, hitting to nearly the $40 level. That being said, again, this is a very high momentum stock. We can't really do a lot of technical analysis here. It's going to be very limited due to we only have about a month-ish of data on it. Again, you can see a lot of my information is just not even printing right on the daily chart. So we're going to have to go down to a different time frame. So we're actually going to bring this down to basically, we're going to do like a 4-hour time frame to kind of give you a better perspective of what is going on here. That being said, we can kind of see here when it first opened up, kind of black, because they kind of opened up during the absolutely some of the crazier parts of the pandemic, and people kind of start wondering, hey, are things going to start opening up? And once some good news came out about reopenings and sports starting to figure out what to do, it's just been kind of really taking off, and it's getting a lot of press because of it too. So that being said, again, it's kind of teetered off here at 40. After hours trading is around 37 here right now, 37.70-ish, 37.75. Looking here for a potential pullback. If it does come down here, it's going to be looking at potentially level 1. Level 1 meaning it's going to be the strong level. It's going to be basically going to coming in around the 8 exponential moving average, which is around $34. Just call it $34.50. And then level 2 is going to be the 21 if it comes down to this level. This is, again, it's a newer IPO, and this thing on every day it just has different volume coming in, and you kind of see here on huge volume days it's just kind of been really pumped up, kind of breaking through, kind of trading sideways for a little bit, but then another volume comes in and it kind of continues going higher. Can this withhold and continue going higher? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but I did order one from Amazon. Just joking. That being said, again, we're looking here at having to basically break the $40 price target here. So we're going to do at or above here, just here at 39. Let's move this up just if I can move it. There we go. Move it to there, 420. So that right there. So we're going to look for a potential move higher. That being said, let's go ahead and get to the trade again from our wonderful person here on the Discord chat. The trade basically was a very bullish trade. Someone around 11.19 sold the $40 put that's expiring on the 19th of June for at least 47 cents the delta, looking at potential prices on this, and then looking for the overall of buying 5,200 calls at the 40 strike price as well. Again, so the put's going to be in the money, and then this is going to be out of the money. So he's wagering a quite substantial amount of money. So we can actually break down that trade and analyze it to see on how that actually looks like. Again, so we're looking for that $40. Basically, it's going to have to go up in the next, what is that, 14 days or something. It's going to be in the next 21 days, so but less than like 3 weeks to potentially get to that level. So that being said, so I'm going to introduce you guys to Tastyworks. This is what I use for my options trading. Again, if you want to help support the channel, there's a link down below to figure out more information. Again, so like we talked about, we're looking here at the 19th of June. We're looking at the $40 strike price. He bought them, and then he sold the 40 put here. As you can see here, there's a lot of volume, a lot of open interest at both these calls and puts. And then the next level of really high interest is going to be basically volume is around the 35 level, and then from there it's going to be the 45 level. So this is pretty interesting to basically see at $5 increments. There's going to be a lot of activity, which kind of makes sense. A lot of huger funds and things like that prefer to buy more of those easy to read numbers like 40, 35. They're not going to buy the 36.5 strike price and things like that to kind of keep things streamlined. So this being said, we're looking again at a lot of open interest here, quite literally double from here and so forth. This is going to be a pretty costly trade. Again, he is betting nearly $19,307,600 for this particular trade to go into to play out. His max profit is basically infinite, but his max loss is around, again, the 19.3. Because again, if he combines the trades, which we kind of basically did here, you can see down here lower tab, we're selling the 40 put and we're buying the 40 calls 21 days out. We can look here on the Analyze tab. Oh, there we go here. Sorry about that. So again, this might be a little confusing here, but this is basically a visual representation of what we're looking at here. The information is still down here on the bottom here. The probability of profit is around 47%, which is a little bit lower than just buying the straight out stock, because the stock is again around the 50%. Again, max profit is infinite if it continues going up. Max loss is quite a bit, nearly 19 million. That being said, here we are currently looking at the strike price, which is this little red flag here, is at 37. And as soon as I move this line up and down, you can see the values going up and so forth. So the orange line is basically the value of the overall trade of the call and the put. You can start seeing if the stock drops quite drastically, let's say to 35, with the potential Greeks with the delta and with the overall theta left and the Theo price involved, is going to be literally a loss of nearly $1 million. And then you of course can go all the way down here. I can zoom this out even more and look at the overall just crashing down, and further it goes to this side over here. The negative just kind of compiles and goes higher. Of course, again, that goes to the complete opposite as well, as if this continues going higher, this is going to be continue increasing the price. So again, if he does absolutely nothing, and the day of expiration, or the day of the day before, and he holds it to the day of expiration, he could be netting a quite substantial amount of money. The calls are going to be the ones that are going to be really in jeopardy, in the sense of their theta, or their it's going to be declining quite a bit. So if you're in the 20-day window, which you can kind of see here, this is like the theta up here, the pink line up here. So this is going to start compressing and getting closer and closer to this red flag here, or wherever the strike price is. This is going to start kicking in quite fast. You can kind of see here towards the tail end. So these are going to be your crazy out of the money calls here. The theta is already kicking in quite substantially, meaning that you're losing value, that premium's going away because the opportunity or the probability that it breaking out below that is not very likely. That being said, we can go look here back at the table. The options move is the IV is super high, or the implied volatility is over 110%. So that's very, very high. Anything over 100 is extremely high. And again, it's a move of $8 plus or minus from where we're currently trading. So within 8 days, it has a volatility of basically $8. So let's go back to the Thinkorswim chart. So if we closed at basically 37 yesterday here, we're going to look for $8, which is going to be lower, which should be down to literally $29. Again, it's going to kind of be coming into that 21 exponential moving average where we kind of talked about, and then $8 higher, we're going to be looking at here. So that's going to be 40, and then around 45-ish for the potential the bell curve, in the lack of better words, of the potential move. So it's quite a substantial move here. We can actually draw a box to give a better representation. So it's going to be a little bit here. That's going to be basically the potential move here. We can break this back down to the daily side. And it wasn't until the 20th, right? So we're just going to basically roll it out here. So it can potentially trade in this box. Again, this is the 68 percentile move here. So that's the bell curve of the move. That's what the market makers are saying. Again, they don't have a crystal ball. They're just using stats and the black swan theory in the sense of looking at the potential move here and calculating the risk to reward, looking at the worst case and best case. But again, if you go back to the tab here on the Thinkorswim, which I love the platform for this, is it gives you the first deviation and then the second deviation, and that's how they kind of cut it off at. This is where like the second deviation is like at 80-something% of all the moves happening. So it's going to be around 1750 down here, and then 47. So it's going to be pretty substantial. It actually doesn't even have it actually on the upward channel because this thing has just been printing higher. So it looks like they don't even have the second deviation. Probably it's going to be, so if this first deviation is at like 28, probably this is going to be $10 more. So this could be potentially looking at like 55 or 58 could be the second deviation channel for within the options. That being said, just be super mindful of this if you're considering trading this. It's going to be super volatile. It has been popping off by popping off and going higher. I might want to nibble on this just a little bit by maybe selling some puts. Again, I'm a little bit more conservative in my trading. Again, these are just my opinions. This is going to be interesting trading because this is going to be kind of a trend trade in the sense of this is the hot stock in the news. This is going to be kind of like your NAT, but once this kind of something comes out and the bubble kind of pops or something negative happens or whatsoever, this can kind of come out of favor. That being said, I kind of want to give you the example of BYND, and that let's type that BYND. Where it had a pretty substantial move out of the out of the starting line, and it kind of hit its peak. What was that? So it came out in basically around the same time. So this is last year though, the end of May, and then hit its peak a little over a month and a half later. And then kind of started to trade lower and so forth, and now trading sideways and so forth from that, but has not seen that $240 price target. I'm not sure if it ever will, but we'll find out. We'll see what that potential looks like. But again, not saying this is going to be just like the DraftKings here, but just be mindful of these hot IPO stocks, and we're gonna have to look at some of the fundamental side of things on when are there some incoming insider selling, and so usually when a new IPO stock goes out, they have certain expiration dates for people who are the early investors, the employees or whatever, want to sell their options or their stock in the company. They have those set dates. So they might have the set date for the 15th of June that 20% of the volume or 20% of the shares are going to be being sold from insiders or so forth. So just be mindful that we can look that up and take that as a grain of salt, looking for the potential movement of the market, because those could be some down days to kind of nibble and buy some of those stocks there. Again, guys, I hope this was informative. If you learned something, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. If you want to join the Discord, it's completely free. It's down in the description below. And we also have a Patreon page that helps support the channel and you get some pretty cool indicators and watch list. And what really helps as well too is if you want to create a real options trading account and use what a lot of pros are using for options is through Tastyworks to better understand options and markets. Again, that link is down there below as well to help support the channel for referral. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And this is Ken from the Dyslexic Investor. Peace.